Hi, and thank you for joining me on a special edition of Two Guys and a Lot of Wine. Rocky's away, but not unfortunately. Fortunately, his wonderful wife is joining us, Sandy Holland.
Hi.
We have Matt Whitney from Maximum Beverage, and we have my friend and wine lover and rosé lover, India Liddell. Thank you all for joining us. Generally, we would be doing a Halloween-themed show this year, but we've done those plenty of times, and we had such a great summer this year. The weather was fantastic. So I said, let's do an end-of-summer favorite wines. So all my guests and myself have brought some of what we thought some of our favorite wines for the summer. You're going to be watching this in October, but these still will be fun to drink then. So thanks again, guys, for bringing these wines, and I'm looking forward to tasting them all. And India, we're going to start with you because you brought the first two, which are beautiful bottles. Tell us about the first rosé that we have going on.
Rosés happen to be one of my favorites, and as you know, we together, along with Carrie, have drank many different rosés over the summer. This particular bottle, I actually just found because I was looking for, as I call it, her big sister. Miraval is a vineyard and a winery owned by, and I'm going to say Brangelina, Angelina Jolie,
is it
and Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, and it's called Miraval, and they recently came out with, as I keep calling it, her younger sister called Studio, which from a price point standpoint, it's about $6 less than the Miraval, which is in a $21 to $23 range.
Yeah, that's pricey, but
yeah. And so this one has come out, and we're here to try it because this is my first time trying this one.
yeah, it'll be my first time, I believe, too. So I love the color. It's a really light color.
It is a rosé from Provence, which many people know is very, very famous for their rosés. However, we'll be discussing others.
Happens to be some of my favorite from France also. That's really nice. Little stony, but it's really nice, refreshing rosé.
I think very drinkable. I mean, I wouldn't say it's, to me, rosé is great. I think rosé is perfect for on the deck. Just if you're going to have like more than one glass of wine, definitely have a rosé because you can just slug them right back. This one in particular.
Especially in the summer.
Yeah.
Summer water.
No doubt. Yeah.
Summer water, that's a good idea.
Well, I know I've talked to Rock about this before, and I'm curious what you think, Matt. Rosés are interesting to me for a couple reasons. There's a lot out there right now. There's a lot of inexpensive rosés. There's a lot of expensive rosés. But you're in the business. What do you get when you start getting to $20, $25, $30 rosé? Are you just getting more of a complex flavor, or not really?
Yeah, I mean, there's some more complexity. You got to understand that when you're making rosé, you lose the complexity you would with some other wines because of the lack of skin contact. You get, I think, to me, rosé is there's a lot of wines out there that can be kind of lumped in the same categories, and I think a lot of Provence, there's a lot of great wines, and then there's a lot of wines that are all kind of the same, right? You find a ton of that. There's a lot of homogeneity throughout, I think, rosé. I mean, we have 40, 50 rosés in the store right now, and there's a handful of them to me that are like.
And some of those at the higher price point, you're also probably paying for the name, the vineyard, and stuff like that.
You absolutely pay for the name. You pay. I mean, you pay for location, and people aren't afraid now to spend $25 on a bottle of rosé. Whereas 6 years ago, it was like $12.99 was the spot.
Right.
So like we were discussing earlier, that some wines from like Wolfler Estate that are $20, $25. Those wines, out of New York, those wines fly off the shelves.
Well, India, I got to say this was delicious, and you're probably seeing we have 7 bottles on the table. We have not done 7 bottles since Jim, I think, had a Spanish wine importer, and there were 10, and he did that show alone with the gentleman. So I don't know how they went through 10, but that is delicious. Thumbs up.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that with us. That was absolutely phenomenal.
Kind of reminds me of Whispering Angel a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
It's got that going on, and it's a few bucks less.
I tend to shy away from that specifically.
Oh, that one? Yeah.
Yeah, specifically because as you said, there are
There's so many other
options out
rosés,
there.
sure.
And there's it's really not harsh on your palate at all. It's just sort of
nice.
very smooth, very soothing tasting.
Definitely easy drinking for sure.
It is.
Now, India, did you get both of these locally?
I did. I actually got one from Maximum.
Excellent.
And another from another local provider.
So these are available locally. Just you can find them in the stores.
Absolutely. Right here in West Hartford.
All right, well, I'm really anxious to go into our Pasqua because I think this is the one we've had before, I believe.
Yes, we have had this together.
And this is the Italian one, I believe.
It is. I found this wine, believe it or not, through NPR, Faith Middleton Food Schmooze.
I believe it.
And I was intrigued because she went on and on and on about it. And normally, again, I tend to think that rosés are from Provence. This one is from Italy. It's from the Pasqua family, and it's called 11 Minutes. And the reason it is called 11 Minutes is that is how many minutes that they actually press the grapes in order to get the
Very
rosé.
good. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I thought it was just kind of interesting, and I'm also a little bit of a bottle snob. I love interesting bottles, which is why the Miraval initially caught my eye, and this one especially. It's just so
Manufacturers
unique.
are not immune to that. They know people like bottles,
They do.
and that does add a lot to the sale value. And I would say they could also call that 11 minutes because I could probably finish that bottle in 11
Oh, yeah.
minutes. That is that
It's
good too.
delicious.
And generally, one of my choices is an Italian rosé. Generally, I shy away from Italian rosés because they tend to be a little on the sweeter and acidic side. But the one that I have coming up, I'll talk about shortly. But yours, I can tell you right now, is better than the one that I have.
It's great,
So
The color is beautiful.
isn't it?
an unbelievable contrast between the two. You get, out of the Italian wines in general, and then obviously this is Northern Italy. You really get, a delicious acidity that you don't get on the first wine.
That's right.
more
That
aroma
really,
in this,
you
yeah.
could just have this with food all day. I mean, it
It's
really
so
makes you want to
good.
eat. Whereas the first wine, I think, is like a drink it by yourself.
Patio
Yep.
pounder, as they say.
Right. Yeah.
And the price
I like
point
this
on the Pasqua is, or 11 Minutes, is somewhere, you can find it anywhere between, I would say, $14.99 to $16.99, somewhere around there. It's a
Hey,
decent bottle.
With the cold weather coming up, I should say, and I think I've talked to Jim when Jim was doing the show and Rocky, rosés actually pair very well with turkeys. So Thanksgiving's coming up. Use a rosé instead of some of the stuff you generally would serve. Rosés, I think, would pair very well with a nice turkey.
Always a go-to for us, definitely rosé.
Yeah.
And now it's year-round, whereas,
Yeah.
again, 8-9 years ago it was a seasonal item, and now you can find rosés on the shelf.
Well, I'm very happy about that.
In February.
So that was a thank you again for that one,
welcome.
India. And Sandy, what do you think?
I like it. I prefer, like you, I'm normally a Provence. That's where I want my wine from. It's got a lot more aroma than the first one, but
It
I
sure
prefer
does.
I prefer the taste of the first one.
Do you really?
I do.
I
Yeah.
love this one.
This one's good, but
And it's funny because even though one's Italian, one's French, people will see the colors and think, well, they should taste the same because
Right.
the skins
They
wouldn't
look
left
so
in as long.
similar.
But they don't. They taste dramatically different, and both in a positive way, though.
Right.
They're
Tons
certainly-
of bright citrus on this one, and the first one, more of the stony fruit kind of that profile.
Well, we have a tough show to follow after that one, India.
Sorry.
I don't know where we're going. We'll find out. So the next one, number 3, is Teeny. It's a Rosé Sangiovese. This was a closeout locally. You might still be able to find them because they were selling them by the carriage full. And I generally shy away, like I said, from Italian rosés. But yeah, for the price point, which at the time was between $4.99 and $5.99,
Oh, fun.
this was late summer. I said, well, you know what? How could you?
not?
Can't really go wrong.
right.
And I got to be honest with you, I found it to be a really refreshing rosé. It's going to be a little bit more fruit forward than the first two, at least in my opinion. But the price point was phenomenal, and it's not overly sweet. And everybody knows Bobby P does not like sweet wines.
And
generally.
another good bottle.
And another very interesting bottle.
Yeah.
That's right.
I get
Very
nothing
close
on
to
this.
the, 11
Do you get
minutes.
anything? The color's very different from the first two.
Yeah, I think you'll look at the vintages of the other two rosés, and they're 18s probably.
I think this one is a 16.
Yeah, 16. So
There's something on the back of it that's like almost caramely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a little bit of that sweetness there, but like I said, for me, and this is, as always, these wines have been sitting for now 25, 30 minutes. They're getting a little room temperature.
sure.
It's still, to me, drinkable, and I still find this refreshing for an Italian rosé. And generally, that's not the case.
And for the price point?
For the price point, which
Why not?
doesn't hurt.
No, it doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt. And if you can find this, like I said, between $4.99, $5.99 closeout, that might still be in the local area, shop around, go online and look it out.
Yep.
Check it out.
You know what we call this in the store? This is in-law wine right here.
Serve it to the in-laws.
Yeah.
They don't know
they don't
any
care.
better.
They drink whatever.
I got to remember that.
There you go.
That's an in-law
And I
wine.
do
like
have
that.
in-law
right?
wine. I do.
Yeah, you gotta have it.
And yeah.
And you know what's interesting about Matt's comment is, generally people bring out the in-law wine. It's like Behringer's or something.
Oh, no, yeah.
Forget that.
Yeah.
Here is a perfect example. go against your comfort level. Try something different. Try something that you've never tried before. The bottle looks different. Try it.
See, the key with the in-law wine is to have it be something they've never heard of. Because if they see, barefoot or something like that, then they're gonna know.
Yep.
But teeny, no one knows what teeny is.
That's a
Perfect.
cute name.
Yeah.
Teeny.
It is a cute name.
So I don't like this quite as much as our first two, since obviously
Well, we should have probably started with that.
you should have, because this was a heavier rosé.
Yeah.
That's the best way to classify it. It's a little bit heavier. It's darker. There's that little bit of caramel that does sort of hit you a little bit. But for the price point and for its originality, I think, like I said, that's why I must have went through almost a case of that over the summer, just
you-
sitting outside.
Yeah.
It's a perfect drinking wine. Though, India, if you had come over more often with that 11 minutes.
Well,
you
you
go.
and I were also sharing our summer in a bottle.
That's
which
true.
Is, which was something that you had just mentioned. It's
Yeah.
the Wolfer Estates out on Long Island, and an amazing, amazing bottle of wine. If you can see it and find it, grab it. It's a little high on the price point. It's about $25 to $27, but the bottle is gorgeous and it's worth every penny.
So we have finished our rosés, and now we're going into one of my favorite varietals of wine in the summer is a Sauvignon Blanc. This one is a French Sauvignon, which I tend to like more only because it doesn't have that Marlborough powerful citrus pop in your mouth. Most French Sauvignons, I think, are more mild. You still get that melon, you still get that citrus, but it's much more subdued, in my opinion. And this was one of my favorites. I think I had maybe half a case of this. And this is actually my last bottle.
All right.
I know it's still available locally. And the price point for this one is between $13, $15, I believe. Do you sell that one, Matt?
We sell some of their wines. This one, I'm not sure. This category. It's a big category. So Loire Sauvignons. So we only carry a few.
And people should realize when they see a Sauvignon, they might automatically think it's a Sauvignon Blanc and it's going to be like a Marlborough.
Right.
Not a French one. Not generally the case. That's not generally the case. You will get a little bit of those characteristics in the wine, but not that powerful punch like you get from a Marlborough.
No grapefruit.
Yeah, what you get out of this is you
interesting.
get a good amount of earth, mineral, and almost like crushed rock on the nose.
Yep.
Something that if you were to compare to something you might get out of even a Bordeaux, it's very.
My bias towards French wine will always say that there's a little bit more sophistication in the French Sauvignon, which is why I like it. I think there's something that's just lingering below the surface that wants you to analyze it and admit that French wines are the best, but don't really do that because we don't want to make the French happy. But
It's like truffle-like on the nose.
I never thought of that one.
Yeah.
Truffle.
Like
Right? You getting that?
I'm getting melted butter.
Yeah. Well, okay.
I
Same thing.
was actually almost just going to say I'm not a fan of Chardonnay, and this it has a hint, as you said, butter. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
I
Definitely.
am not.
There's definitely a little oak on
connoisseur
there.
of French wines, but
You are a Sauvignon Blanc lover, right? You like
I
the Marlborough
am,
ones,
and
generally.
it has to be from New Zealand.
So how would you? I'm typically in New Zealand too.
Yeah, this is
How
zero
different is
comparison.
this from New Zealand?
Zero comparison.
Was it as it should be? Completely different environment and so forth.
It's good. It's very light. It's interesting to me. I wouldn't say I would go towards it.
You'd stick with New Zealand.
Oh, absolutely. I'm a grapefruit
I
girl.
like this, but yeah, I like the grape. That's what I like about Sauv Blanc is getting that grapefruit in your face. You either are for that or against it, I guess.
Yeah, it's out for everybody. Like I said, I tend to like it. I know, India, we've drinking a lot of those Sauvignon Blancs in Newport at your beautiful home there. And I like Marlboros, but I still, Carrie, my wife, loves, like you do, the Marlboros, but I just like the subdued quality of the French.
Yeah,
Sauvignon.
it's really tasty. It's delicious. It's very new to me. So.
And even at a room temperature, I still sort of think it tastes pretty good.
I think so.
Now, Matt, what's your? I've always wondered about this. You guys sell obviously a lot of wine. Where's French Sauvignons fit in on your? Do you have a large selection, or is it just?
It's been a shrinking selection.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the go-to region is Sancerre, and people are always looking for value nowadays. So and you can find a ton. So for $12 out of a New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, you're getting good quality.
Which is unusual. They were always pricier, and there weren't a lot to choose from.
Sure.
There are more to choose from.
Yeah, I mean, $13.99 maybe, $14.99 is the most I would recommend people paying for, a lot of something, a lot of New Zealand stuff. But that's taken over the category. So domestic Sauvignon Blanc is dead. I mean, there's nobody buying stuff out of California.
It's not that good.
It's too hot. You can't do it there. It needs to be cooler. So really, it's France and it's New Zealand, and that's pretty much it. Maybe a little bit of Chile, but that's about it.
What is the price point on this one?
Between $14, $15.99. Like I said, that you can still shop around and find locally. I don't remember where I got that one off the hand, but I know I bought a half a case. I think I did a tasting and I liked it because once again I like French Sauvignons. But it's another example of these first 4 wines. I think would go great when you're seeing the show in October. In November for Turkey.
We can still drink it.
We can think you'd still drink it. Yeah.
And the rosés as well.
Well, the rosés definitely.
Good.
For sure.
So now I think we're going into. Is this yours, Sandy?
Yeah, this is a peak pool, which the first time I heard that I said, I'm sorry, what did you say?
I was just going to ask
I had
you,
never
what did you
heard
say?
that before.
I love the name.
It's called Peak Pool. P-I-C-P-O-U-L is one version of the spelling. It's from the Languedoc region. Do I say that right?
Yes.
So it is a white wine. I was introduced to this at a local restaurant. I told them I wanted a summer white, and they poured this for me, and it became my summer favorite. So every time I went to this restaurant, I started ordering this, and Rocky and I started buying bottles of it.
And
Is there? I'm sorry.
no, I was just going to say, what is it closest to before I even?
I don't know what I would say. It's, I guess, so when I first entered the wine world, I was in the white t-shirt of wine, just, Pinot Grigio all the time. I think if you're a Pinot Grigio fan, this is a step or two up just to get you out of that comfort zone, but it's got a lot more going on than Pinot Grigio.
Yeah, Pinot Grigio will drop off very quickly after the first sip. This is still lingering,
Yeah.
so there's a little kick there.
That's what I like about it.
And where is it from?
It's from Languedoc, the Languedoc region.
Languedoc, which is like basically, I don't want to call it southern France because it's not quite there, but it's like mid-south France. You have to get a map out.
It's nice and
I'm
light.
not good at geography, but
Yeah, I know. I know what you
I'm
mean.
terrible at that.
France is so particular because
Right.
every region, whether it's facing the ocean or whether it's facing the hill, whatever it is, every varietal is going to taste different depending on where they produce it there. But I like this.
It's different.
I
It
think
is
we've done it
different. It's
before,
very nice.
but not this one. But it fits what I would consider my type of for a white
It's
wine.
got something on the finish that kind of stays on your tongue, almost like it's fizzy, but it's not a fizzy wine.
Exactly.
It's got you get like a lot of tropical fruit on the nose. I wouldn't say citrus, but like tropical fruit.
No, definitely not citrus.
Like a mango, even something like that.
And what was the price point on this one, Sandy?
Under $15.
Well, there you go.
It's a nice bottle.
Imported by the guys that started Banshee Wines. Do you guys know Banshee out of California?
Do not.
So the importer is Valkyrie Selections. They're out of Healdsburg. They're importers based out of Healdsburg, and that's where Banshee's based out of. I didn't go there, but I was in Healdsburg like 3 weeks ago. So it's funny. I just noticed that on the back.
Well, Sandy,
Thank
it's
you.
uniquely
Good summer
different.
favorite.
It's been a while since I had this varietal, but once again, I like it. So very good. Thumbs up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And this was obviously one of your summer favorites.
Besides rosé, it was my second
Number
summer
2?
favorite. Yes.
Refreshing for sure. Yeah.
And Matt, what is your before we get into what I'm really looking forward to your selections? Can you drink most of these wines at room temperature, or in your opinion, should all these varietals be chilled?
Yeah, I'm not a fan at room temp personally.
For any of these varietals, they should have a little chill to them.
I do. A lot of people in the wine community like their whites at like 45 degrees, but I like mine a little colder. But because, if you're tasting wine, you can definitely, if you want to taste wine to explore, then you definitely want, in the 50s. Okay, but if you're like us and you want to just enjoy a nice cold glass of wine, definitely do it nice and chilled, right out of the ice box. Even.
I was going to say, do you go as far as throwing an ice cube in?
Oh, no, I won't do that. I have done that, but it's got to be real hot, and I have to,
I make believe I didn't hear that.
It's not something you typically do, but I definitely throw my wines in the freezer all the time to get them down. Well,
The biggest problem, not that it's a problem for us, the four here at the table, but the biggest problem when you do that is if you want that chill in the wine and you pour an average size glass up to here,
Yeah.
unless the person is going to drink it fast
That's the
and they're
problem.
talking, it's going to get warm. So what I normally do, and Sandy, you can attest to this, we've had many parties in India, I always do a small pour.
Yeah.
Every time it's a white wine, it's going to be a small
Yeah.
pour at a chill temperature. I don't care if you finish. If you finish fast, I'll pour you another one. I'd rather have you taste it at the right temperature than you're talking, you forget about it, then you go to sip it, and it's like room temperature.
Yeah.
So that's usually the
That's
best way to
great.
go. So I'm going to give that a thumbs up too.
All right.
I'm going to
It's
give that
delicious.
a thumbs
Yeah.
I am as
Nothing wrong
well.
with that. That's tasty. Low alcohol too, 12.5%.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
up. I think all these are in the 11s and 12s, I believe. Rosé should usually be in that category, I believe.
Yeah, we'll click up a little bit here on this next one.
This one's 12.5.
Oh,
Okay.
excuse me.
Sorry. Did,
All right, Matt, we're going to a Chard now.
Yeah, you know, a little different. I went to the store today and I said, what do we got that's kind of a heartier white heading to fall? So, you know, it's a new wine for me. This is out of Stellenbosch, South Africa. I don't know,
Love South Africa.
Yes.
you know, how much South African wine you drink. But
great.
Stellenbosch is basically as far south in South Africa as you can get, right near Cape Town. So it's the Lima Chardonnay. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that wine right, because this is brand new to me. But it's delicious little Chard. About 16 to 18 bucks, something like that. And kind of an organic winemaking philosophy there.
And this is a steel barrel, right?
Actually, this is not.
Ooh.
So
Might-
this has
might
got
you expect some butter here?
not really. You know, it sees only like 30% new French oak, and the rest is just regular French. You know,
Look at that color.
used or
Yes.
ex-French oak
Gorgeous.
barrels.
I don't
That's
normally
a
do
Chard.
Chardonnay.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a Chardonnay.
if you like rosé,
But
you like
I think it's got a lot of nice qualities to it.
It does.
And,
I can tell you right now, that's a Chardonnay, but it's not the the butter bomb. There's enough of what I'm looking for in a white wine here.
Yeah, and,
So it's in an oak?
and this wine is pretty close. I mean,
That's surprising if it's
it's pretty
an oak.
warm.
Is it an oak?
Oh yeah, it sees oak. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. A lot of what a lot of wineries do when they want to impart a little bit of oak is they do use some new French oak, but the rest is neutral. So 30% is new oak, the rest is neutral. So you don't
Got
really.
legs.
It does
Yeah,
have legs.
I
just
know.
looking at that.
That's amazing.
It's good for a Chardonnay.
For a Chardonnay.
I got to say that's I do drink Chardonnays, but generally not California Chardonnays. That's really good.
So one thing that's interesting about South Africa and when we look at all these regions where people grow wine, if you look at kind of their latitude, this is the same. If you looked across, west into South America, you'll see Uruguay, Argentina, Chile, kind of line right up with
Yeah.
the Stellenbosch. So it shows you that it's really where you are in relation to the equator is whether you can make good wine or not.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it's an interesting thing about.
Do you like South African wines in general?
I don't drink a ton of them, but every time I find something, seem to find something I like. It's sort of still to me, it's
Haven't really
for us
found
up here, it's
anything.
really an undiscovered category still. I think people don't really grasp it because some of the wines are a little funky and weird, but this is
Yeah.
pretty tasty.
I'll take it over California
Yeah,
any
it's
day,
good.
though.
Yeah.
Well, I got
Yeah.
to say, we've gone through 6 bottles really quickly. We still have time left for that 7th bottle, which I know Matt said is a
Okay.
special
Gonna
treat.
end with dessert.
Well, it's not often you find apple wine, but especially apple wine made in Indiana. But this is kind of a cool little thing. It's not for everybody, but it's called Oliver Apple Pie Apple Wine.
Indiana.
And you sell both these in your store?
Oh yeah, we sell them.
I almost bought this the other day. I did not. I bought it last year.
Thank you.
So I'm
there's
not
a
going into
fizz.
this blind.
Yeah.
There is a fizz. Sorry.
It's got a little. It's not too sweet, but it's definitely got that going on.
I mean, it definitely smells like apple pie.
Yeah, it smells like
You get
apple
the-
pie.
you get the cinnamon
It's got a
in it.
little like you ever walk into somebody's house and
This is great
and-
for
Oh,
fall.
my God.
This is great for autumn.
Oh my
That's
God.
what it's for. This is for like.
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
So you're not a sweet fan?
I love
Typically.
apples. This
Oh.
is a great balance between the right apple and not overly. I don't think this is sweet. I don't think this
Not
is
too
sweet, at all.
No. It's got a cider quality to it.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
it does.
This is freaking delicious.
It's good, right?
It's really good.
What would you serve this with?
I think you just have this with some vanilla ice cream.
Apple
Okay,
pie.
yeah.
I don't think you
It's a
need that.
dessert wine.
I don't think you need the apple pie. You just vanilla ice cream in this, and you're
And
good to
then
go.
just pour it right over the vanilla.
You can, yeah.
You know, I really thought this was going to be much more sweeter than it was. And this is still a little bit of chill left, but this,
It's really
this is
interesting.
absolutely
It's really
always good.
delicious.
Bloomington, Indiana.
Okay.
Produced and bottled right here, Oliver Winery.
You know, it's funny, Matt, just I think our last show, Sandy, we did was on regional wines, and I think it's amazing how many other states are producing wine. I think you had the Michigan wine
Yep.
on, then we had a Virginia wine that we tasted that time,
Really?
and now Indiana. That's
Okay.
unbelievable.
There's a famous winery in Virginia. Trump Winery.
Yes.
Really?
Oh, that's
Yeah, that's where his winery is.
The Trump.
where was the
Donald
wine-
Trump.
Where, was
Yeah.
the, where was the Virginia
West
wine
Hartford
you had?
favorite.
I'm not sure.
It was
That
good
was
though.
donated to us by,
that's right.
by fans.
There's
of
a
the
lot
show.
of good stuff in Virginia. Virginia's got a good, pretty good area for growing grapes.
You know, it's funny because we didn't talk a lot about other areas of the country that are producing wine, but I know there's a particular area, like Texas actually makes wine too, which you would think
Tons.
wouldn't, but they,
Yeah.
I think
they're like
you
the
can
fifth or
probably
sixth.
find it in most states. They
Producer?
have some type of.
They might be number 5.
Wow.
Yep. California, Oregon, Washington State, New York, Texas would be my guess.
Matt, absolutely freaking delicious.
good,
Now, we
right?
only have a couple minutes left. I wanted you to talk about, as usual, your whiskey tasting coming up in
Oh,
October.
thank you. Yeah. So, well, it's October 5th. So I don't know when this will air, but it's at Hartford Golf Club Weehow Whiskey Festival. We're gonna have over 100 whiskeys, scotches, bourbons. It's really a whiskey event.
This is the
certainly.
second or third year?
This is the 7th year.
Oh, seventh
Wow.
year.
Yeah, we started it right here in this building at the town hall, and we did 2 or 3 years here, and then we needed a little bit more space, a little bit different venue, and so we moved it over to the Hartford Golf Club. Both were great. That just gives us a little more space over there. It allows us to do another 100 people. So we're expecting 400 and some odd people this year, so it'll be our
That's
largest
huge.
yet, 450
That's
people,
great.
and it's a great event. Come by,
Well-
WeHowWhiskey.com.
Please do. And I want to, we've been doing this, this is the second time. I'm going to give the Vivino Wine Award tonight. I liked everything on this table, but Matt, that apple pie wine
All right.
gets the Vivino Oscar.
The apple pie out of all this. That's
The-
pretty good. Okay,
The
I'll take
most
it.
unique and best tasting
It's definitely
wine.
the most unique.
I just was blown away just how refreshing and tasty that is without being overly coy on the palate.
Yeah.
So thank you, Matt. Now, what's the price point on both those? You said I know what the Chardonnay
The
was.
apple pie is like around $11.
Oh my God, go buy cases of
great.
it.
Something
Ah.
like that. I
Please.
mean, it's lower alcohol, so it kind of reminds me of walking into someone's house in the fall and they got like one of those candles. It's got a little candle quality to it, doesn't
It
it?
does.
Yeah.
It does.
Little Yankee candle.
I've had wine like that. That's not
Not
even
too
close.
bad.
I'm not going to be
It's-
running out to buy it, but
Yeah,
it's tasty. It
it's
is
definitely it's good. It's like a one-time deal. You buy it once and then for the season.
I like
and-
the thought on
yeah.
the vanilla ice cream.
Vanilla ice cream, perfect. Yeah.
Well, I want to thank my guests. India, thank you for coming in and bringing
Thank
your
you
wines.
for
Matt,
having me
thank you for
again.
coming in and bringing your
Thanks for
delicious
having
wines.
me. Yeah.
Sandy, as always, thank you for your wines. And
Yeah.
I'll thank myself, Bobby P, for bringing my wine. But
Yes.
that's probably my least favorite on the table tonight. I want to thank all of you for watching. Have a great Halloween. And until next time, keep everybody in your wine cellar.